Hey, hey, hey! Happy Friday, guys. Hope you are all having a wonderful day. Trying to adjust the... There we go. Uh-oh. I don't have the laptop turned off, obviously. I'm trying to get things set up for JJ. He's on the phone. But 5 people already waiting. You guys are awesome. Where is it? There we are. Is everybody having a good week? My hair looks awful because I need to get it done. So don't judge my hair. Hi, Fred. Hope you are doing well. Pop this out for him. Hi. How is everybody this week? Are we all having good weeks? Aw, thank you so much. It's very sweet of you. It is Friday. It is happy hour. We get to go watch a baseball game after this. JJ's son has a baseball game this afternoon or this evening. So we're going to be going to that. 30 people already, 32. You guys are so awesome. I hope everybody watched the reality show last night. If you did not, make sure that you go back and you watch it because it was an awesome episode. Hi, Rob. Thank you for being on. We've missed you guys. It's weird whenever we only go live once a week. I feel like we had Mary Cooper emailed us and she's like, I feel like I don't see you guys anymore since we're just going live once a week, but life is so crazy. It's hard for us to get on there every day like we used to. Hi, Tony, especially since things are starting to open back up and we're getting back out in the real world. So it's harder and JJ has tax season, so it's harder for us to get on every day. Aloha, hi, Maria. Hope you that you had a wonderful week. Does anybody have any exciting plans for the weekend? We're gonna work. Last weekend was our getaway and it was so much fun and so awesome, but we did that because we knew we had like 5 weeks of really grinding to get done. So that was our break before everything gets started. If you are new here, we really appreciate it. Hi, Card Shop Reality. Hope you had a great week. Anyways, we are really pushing forward these next 5 weeks. We have a lot of stuff that we have to get done. So, yeah, last weekend was a great getaway because of that. Even though it's like 96 degrees today and I really just want to be in the pool. Like I don't want to do anything else but get inside the pool. But I sadly cannot. Yes, CSR was watching the episode last night, but he couldn't see the comments or couldn't see the chat, so he couldn't participate in that, but he was watching it. It turned out really awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you to everybody that showed up. It was a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun making them. It gives me a way, I like to be creative and it gives me a way to be creative. Oh, Mr. Gene McIntyre's in the house. Good, I'm so glad that you watched it. Thank you. Oh, you guys, you're so kind. Thank you, Rob. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun doing so. I hear JJ wrapping up off the phone, so my time is almost done. You had a good it is 4 o'clock, 4:01.
You're supposed to go till 4:05.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing?
Well, I came on 5 minutes early because we had 7 people waiting.
Did you tell them we got a new shirt coming?
I haven't got to that
Oh,
yet.
okay. See, you haven't even been on.
I know. Did Will take those?
He did.
He did?
Yeah, so.
Oh, you guys. So, I will tell you. I'll be the first to tell you. Gosh. You know, whenever I watch people on Instagram and on YouTube, I cannot stand it whenever they're like constantly touching their hair. And that's what I'm doing because mine, I just feel like it looks so awful. But anyway, we got JJ the CPA and the Amanda Tour shirts designed, and they are currently at the printer with our wonderful friend Megastar Printing, who designed his last t-shirt. And so he brought us yesterday a couple of sample designs to see if we were gonna like them or not. They're so awesome. And we will be letting you guys know whenever we have them in hand, and then we will start taking orders for them. We went back and forth if we were going to charge for the shirts or not. Of course, we will give some away, but since we have so much travel that is coming up due to the reality show, and because JJ is giving away so much information for free, his producer, me, has made the decision that we are going to charge for the shirts. So as soon as we get them, we will let you guys know, and that's the cost is just going to be to pay for the shirts, as well as to help with any expenses that we have with traveling. So we hope that you guys will support us and you will buy one because they're awesome. And it's the first time that JJ the CPA and the Amanda are on the same t-shirt. So it's gonna be awesome. Yes, Amanda the business manager. That's me. I handle all things JJ the CPA related. Sorry, we got alarms going off telling us that it's time to go live. So anyways, we are really excited about the shirt. CSR, I have not forgotten about your shirt. I've actually ran out of large and extra large, so I'm seeing what I can do to getting you the Amanda shirt, because like JJ doesn't want to give up his, and my boys were like, looked at me like I was crazy when I asked them if they wanted to give up theirs. So I will get you a t-shirt. I'm working on it. Ah, looky there. That's my dude. He's actually not mine. Just FYI, I will tell you the backstory as to why I wanted that. My 14-year-old son, whenever he was little boy, he loved Army guys. And like, so going to the Dollar Tree, we would buy like that big bag of just Army men, and he would go home and he would play with them for hours. Like they were all over the house, and he lined them up and he had these big battles. So it's always something really sentimental to me when I see Army men, because it reminds me that of course he's my baby. So it reminds me of whenever he was little and he played with Army men. So when I saw this guy, I was like, heck yeah, he's got to come home with me. So whenever Nicholas doesn't even know that I have it. So whenever I'll give it to him eventually after I get done playing with it.
I'm ready.
Oh, JJ is ready. You guys got 8 minutes of me today. We will keep you posted. I am also in the final phase of getting the texting thing set up. If you are not familiar with that because you weren't here whenever we announced it, I'm setting up a texting platform that's going to be available only to the first 100 people at this moment. So as soon as I get that up and running, we will announce it. And then it's just gonna be first come, first serve on 100 people, and then boom. So be on the lookout. Make sure that you are subscribed and you're getting notifications as to when a video drops, so then you'll be notified and you can sign up for the testing. So this cutie wants to come over.
JJ the CPA is a cutie?
Why is this on my seat?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I have to hand it to him. What's going on, everybody? It's so good to see you all. Card Shop Reality. Oh, he got 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Hey, it's so great to see everybody today. I hope everybody's had a good week. We have. I've got to tell you, part of the reason I'm wearing this hat, I'll tell you in a minute. Had a great day, especially yesterday. Thanks for everybody being on. Card Shop Reality got a second shout out on the reality show episode that aired last night with Imagine That Toys. I will tell you this though, just to start kind of in a serious note a little bit, but we did think about not going live this week, and then we actually had pulled down the Imagine That Toys reality show just temporarily. We knew that there's other stuff going on this week. There's other more important things being addressed this week. And we know that, and they made it public on Facebook, but imagine that had a credible threat either to their area or shopping center. And so we had seen Gwen and Rob, I know their whole family was there, but Gwen was providing a very emotional, very moving live video on Facebook because they were boarding up their store, just to protect it, so to speak. And we know there's a lot, not to get into any of it, but we know that unfortunately there's a small group of people that are ruining it for a large group of people that are trying to get a message across. And so all that to say, we, and maybe part of even some of you all, we got encouraged and felt okay to just keep doing videos and then going live today. And we went ahead and put it back on premiere yesterday. We didn't, if something had happened with Imagine That Toys, we didn't want the episode to air, from that standpoint. So glad everybody's doing okay. Seems like we're kind of past all that. So with that being said, thank goodness. I'm glad for that. And hopefully we'll have some healing starting over this weekend and going into next week, because we are kind of in I think we're going into almost a new era of PPP with this Flexibility Act. New era as in, we don't have to worry about, other than, someone doing a criminal act, just giving a wink there. I think we're gonna lead to a lot more forgiveness for a lot of people. I've put out a bunch of videos related to this. I know we have some questions we're gonna get to. On Friday, we usually have a word, and we were gonna let With Flying Colors pick the word. Did she pick it? Is she on today?
I'm looking. Yes.
Okay, I mean, of course she is, but I hadn't looked yet. So With Flying Colors has to tell us what the word is, so that we can all have a drink.
Oh, she just commented, so now.
Imagine That Toys. Hey there, With Flying Colors.
What's the word?
Yeah, we had left you a message yesterday. Oh, Tony said potato, and actually, are we good with that, with Flying Colors? Are we good with potato? Because I think we talked about it last week, actually. Are we going to be drinking Gatorade? If you want to think this is Gatorade, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Today's word is awesomeness. I love it. Awesomeness. What a great Friday word.
Well, we will use potato
Great
next
Friday
week.
word.
Candace said potato was the word we chose last week. So.
But we told With Flying Colors last night.
Yeah. So we'll go
Awesomeness.
with potato next week.
Potato next week. You help me remember that, because it's all about being a potato. Hey, I don't know if you subscribe to Amanda's YouTube channel yet. Do we have a link in the body? You probably should put a link in the body of this email. So we'd love it if you'd go and subscribe to Amanda's channel. We've moved, and we haven't had it going out at 6 a.m.
Yeah, we did.
We went today?
Yeah.
We've moved the 300 series over to that YouTube channel, Amanda's YouTube channel. But I put a bunch of videos out today, kind of going into this. When I say new era, I want to say a more refreshing, a less stressful era of Paycheck Protection Program monies, PPP. And that's because we're going to be allowed to have 24 weeks. I know that we're going to have some differences on probably the owner's compensation. Only reason I say some differences, I'm hoping. But right now, if you just do what the Forgiveness Act does, which if you probably watched my videos. You've probably watched my videos. You know what's funny though? I'm just going to interrupt. You might as well just say it. I'm like the worst at.
Oh,
No, I was just saying. Amanda knows. Like, just interrupt me, because I usually am like, what?
Yeah.
I'm the worst. But anyways, on the PPP forgiveness application, and then the CARES Act, and then we have the SBA guidelines. Well, when the Flexibility Act came out, really what it did was strike language in the CARES Act and replace it, and then it added a couple of paragraphs. And I know one of the paragraphs that was added, which was to 1106D, and it created a number 7 and a number 8. Point is this. We still know what the CARES Act says. We still know what the application and the guidelines say. All that was really changed was some percentages, and then from the standpoint of a date, and then there was a safe harbor, and then we had the 60-40 put in. And the reason the 60-40 was put in, the 60%, 40% was put in, is that the CARES Act never included anything about a requirement for the percentage for payroll and non-payroll cost. It was on April 3rd that the SBA came up with that in one of their several of their final interim rules. So with that being said, when I look at the application, nothing is going to be potentially different from owners. I don't know, but potentially it could be 24 weeks. I don't think there's going to be a lot added to the forgiveness for owners. I do think there's going to be a lot added to for the employees, which I don't think will really matter in terms if there's not a bunch more forgiveness provided for owners' salaries and wages. From the standpoint of, I think from the SBA, if you have 24 weeks to make up, or not make up, to pay your employees for payroll that's really meant to cover 2 weeks, I think you're gonna, or 2 months, I really think we're gonna find a lot of forgiveness. Now, I do know there's businesses that the primary employees are the owners, so it would make a difference to that. I think I did 3 different kind of videos today about the self-employed, and it does seem like whether they go with 24 weeks or they go with the 60%, maybe they do both, but it seems to me that the self-employed would easily achieve 100% automatic forgiveness regardless of rent and utilities and interest. So you'll have to check out those videos, but in a nutshell, basically, you take that same line 31 from Schedule C, you divide it by 52 weeks, right? Well, if it's times 24 weeks, I mean, you're gonna have an automatic forgiveness amount because it'll be the lesser of your loan or that amount. Or even if the SBA, for whatever reason, sticks with 8 weeks, if you take 8 weeks and that dollar amount, but then you take it as a division of 0.6 or 60%, it still comes out mathematically that it would be 100% forgiveness for the self-employed. All right, we'll see you, buddy.
Bye.
Love you too. And so I think for the self-employed, it'll be a big winner, and it should be. The self-employed, I think, kind of got the short end of the stick from the standpoint of just being, a week later they got to apply. The money ran out when they were just getting ready to apply. I'm self-employed in one direction, and I also have a company, of course. And then we know that when the money came back, there was some favor given to smaller banks and credit unions that helped the self-employed. But then there were a number of companies that, long story short, just I feel like kind of made it harder than it needed to be. I feel like maybe it's evened itself out. There's still $100 billion left in the PPP pot for those that still haven't gotten it. All to say that I think the PPP Flexibility Act is awesomeness, okay? Awesomeness for the self-employed, okay? To be seen for the owner-employees portion, but I don't know how, I'm supposed to take a drink. I don't know how it's not awesomeness for everybody. Now, if you got funds in correctly, I mean, this isn't gonna change any of that. If you got money from PPP based on payroll, but now you don't have payroll for whatever reason, well, this isn't gonna help. So really at the end of the day, when I look at the PPP Flexibility Act, I think it's all positive. I know that there's the language of a cliff. I know now there is this sentiment that, well, the law says that you shall use 60% for payroll to achieve forgiveness, but I did several videos on this, the same videos, but several videos where I have the whiteboard up and I did calculations to show that really what that is saying is exactly what the SBA said and has said, which is you have to use 75% of your forgiveness amount for payroll. So in a nutshell, you just take whatever you spend on payroll divided by 0.6. That's going to be the maximum that you get to get forgiven, okay? And that number times 60% is payroll. So it's not if you got a $100,000 PPP loan and you only spent $59,000 in payroll, all of a sudden, none of it gets forgiven. It's just not how it works. And the reason I'm very confident in that is that, as I indicated, the SBA's language is the same, okay? I think they said must instead of shall, but the language has been the same. The application in that calculation has been the same. So at the end of the day, it will really lead to more forgiveness, but it is going to be contingent on the payroll. So think of it this way. If you got a $100,000 PPP loan and you only spent $30,000 on payroll, okay? Well, you're going to take $30,000 divided by 0.6, okay? And that's going to be your max loan forgiveness. The amount that you spend on payroll, that $30,000, will all be forgiven, assuming that you don't get haircutted. Thanks to Brad CPA came up with that terminology. As long as your $30,000 doesn't somehow get haircutted, but whatever you spend on payroll is going to be forgiven. And then you do that inverse calculation. If it's a 0.6, it's a huge number that should easily encompass pretty much what you've spent. So I feel confident that whatever dollar amount you're spending on payroll will end up being forgiven. Now, Rob had a couple of good questions for us. Rob with Imagine That Toys. And we've got here, you have to go check out the reality show. If you're on with us today, you were probably on, but you heard the story about this, which is very cool, but it's been featured a couple of different times in the video, but we got that, of course. And then we got to come home with some gifts from Imagine That Toys. We have Wonder Woman as well as Superman, okay? And these are like, look at this, we've got these are like special brands, and these are totally awesomeness, total awesomeness with these two right here. Thank you, Gwen, Rob, Paula, Al. And then we've got the Joker, and we have Brickman. Who got Brickman? Did you want Brickman?
No, they gave us Brickman.
No, I know that. But
it was already set aside for us.
Okay, well, no, I'm asking, is it mine? Or is it yours? We're not giving it to a kid, right?
Wonder Woman is mine.
Yeah, we're not giving Brickman to a kid.
No, Brickman's mine. You get the Joker.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we'll just share it.
You'll share with me?
But we also, I will. We also got these from them as well.
And
so,
you need to talk about the book.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do we have the note?
Oh.
All right, so I didn't take a drink with the last awesomeness, so I'm going to take a drink. We are going to get to some questions. If you are self-employed and you haven't seen the videos that I came out with today, do check them out. And then the employers that have had questions about kind of how does this 0.6 work and about the cliff, check those out. But we got...
This is from Hannah Alley. I don't know what you do with the note.
This is from Hannah in Texas. And I don't know if she made this or not, but very thankful for this. It was very, very special
awesome
gift that we got. I guess it was really at the end of last week. So this is a book. It's just nothing necessarily related to JJ the CPA. It's the Eisenhower Diaries. It's a hardback book, but they folded the pages. Am I moving this enough that you can see it? So they folded the pages that we've got JJ the CPA here. Isn't that neat?
It's so neat.
It was so thoughtful.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. And I think we're a little behind on getting our notes out.
Yeah.
And but so thank you for that. One of the reasons I'm wearing my hat, well, probably the only reason, and I just picked up this bat, but my son Cooper, you probably know of, he is a 6'5" lefty going into his senior year of high school, plays for state champion. He was a part of that victory. He came in and pitched the last 3 innings of the state championship with 5 strikeouts. But nonetheless, he got to play or pitch yesterday at the OKC AAA baseball field called the Brick. It's Bricktown Ballpark, but it's where our beloved Dodgers AAA baseball team plays. He got to be on the mound, the same mound as where Kershaw has come and pitched. And when he pitched in the state championship last May, it was at the field that is the AA team for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So got to pitch on that mound and win the state championship. Robin of Philadelphia, how are you? Good to see you. And then so yesterday Coop got to pitch, and afterwards he had 3 colleges reach out to him. He had a ton of coaches connect with him. And we've got some college visits coming out of that. We're going to specifically go to a college on Monday. I won't mention who the schools are, but we're very excited about that. But he was supposed to pitch the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning. These are more, I'm not going to say exhibition, but this is a summer ball team. The tournaments are more about being seen. So yes, someone said awesomeness for Coop. Yes, awesomeness for Coop. But we've got, so we got to watch Coop yesterday, and he came in the 3rd inning. There was 1 out. There was runners on 1st and 2nd. So a lot of those coaches, they're always kind of interested to see, how does someone act under pressure, right? Nonetheless, came in, and first pitch was a little bloop. So 1 out, right fielder caught it, and then threw 3 strikes and struck the batter out. So came in, got those 2 outs, boom, out of the 3rd inning. Came in the 4th inning, struck out the first 2 batters, and the next batter, after a few pitches, hit a pop-up, got him out. Then he came in the 5th inning and struck out another batter, and he only threw 4 balls for that entire time. He was in and out in 30 pitches. And at that age, when you're throwing a ball, he on that particular batter, he had 2 strikes on that batter, and then it was just kind of throwing junk. Nonetheless, he had a great outing. I don't know if I put a link to it in anything in YouTube. I put a link to it on Facebook. But anyway, so he got a write-up. He was on Twitter, and meaning
they're asking how fast his fastball is at the moment.
86. Which he's very excited about, because at the beginning of the spring season, he was probably around 82. And most of the time with age, you might gain 2 miles per hour. But he's been working really hard in this time of COVID. And then he kind of tweaked his mechanics a little bit. So he's using more of his body even than before. And now, of course, he really feels like he needs to be at 90. And there are stellar pitchers around here and high schoolers, that they're throwing 90, 95. Of course, that's, 1% of pitchers or whatever. So he's that's not the best of the best, but it's his statistics. It's his placement and being a lefty, and he's had the same mechanics, same pitching coach, Ryan Phillips, since he was 8 years old. And so just refining the same mechanics. And so the first home game before the season got canceled for spring, he had 10 strikeouts. It was a no-hitter through 6 innings, and then the reliever comes in. The reliever kept the no-hitter. But anyways.
Robert says lefties don't need to be fast.
Yeah, exactly. This is true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is true. So, but OKC Dodgers hat that I've got on here, so I was just very excited. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of part of
And
part of
we're
our
actually-
family.
We will actually be leaving here in a little bit to go watch him play tonight.
Yeah, he won't be pitching. He'll play first. When he goes to college, he'll just be a PO, pitcher only. Awesomeness to Coop on that. I'm just so happy for him because he works so hard on it. I don't have to give him any motivation at all. I know we do have some questions. I know last time we had some good success. You were looking at
No one's asking me.
some questions. Okay, good. That means that I'm doing a good job on my videos.
Rob, I won't let him be late to the game. He's never late to anything when it comes to his kids. He's right on time. So his goodbye today will be short and sweet. All right, the question from Rob, he has two, but I'll ask them one at a time.
Yeah, these will be good videos too, so they're getting a sneak peek.
Deferment of employer share of the Social Security taxes. Is there a reason why to do this or not do this?
Yeah, so out of the CARES Act, the employers can defer the employer portion of the Social Security tax. And what is that? That's a 6.2% tax on top of the payroll that's being paid. So if you have $100,000 in payroll, you're going to have $6,200 in employer Social Security taxes. And so out of the CARES Act, you can defer that tax, which all it does is, I shouldn't say all it does, what it does is it allows a business to have more money in the kitty, so to speak. So I actually decided with all of my clients when it first came out that we were going to run a couple of payrolls as an advance, meaning they didn't technically run. Everybody got paid their net check because I wanted to see how it all came out. And for a period of time, if you were going to do PPP, you couldn't defer it just the same as you couldn't do the employee retention credit. But then the IRS came out and said, well, you can defer those taxes until your PPP is forgiven. And then the Flexibility Act that came out said, you know what, we're just going to let you defer it, period. And so to Rob's question, you know why, it would be to save money. But I will tell you this, with all of my clients, you got to remember, other than just a few of my clients, most of my clients have less than 10 employees. And so if you look at it each payroll period at a time, at least for my client level, it's not a ton of money. And so if you have a larger payroll or you're really running tight like you wouldn't believe, it's easily something that you can take advantage of. You're deferring it. Then you pay half of that tax in 2021 and half in 2022. And it's tracked through the 941, which I believe we're still waiting to see that final version. But from that perspective, if you want to take advantage of it, you still can. All you have to do is reduce down your payroll tax deposits as an employer. So it would really just be if you really need that extra dollars. Again, with my clients, I was just like, you know what, here's what it's going to total between that point, basically second, third, and fourth quarter. It's going to be $6,000 to $7,000. Do we want to do this? And most of my clients were like, for that dollar amount, which if you think about it, it's about $500, like in that circumstance, maybe $500 per payroll period. So for my clients, they really elected not to. So I put it in front of all of them and they're like, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, it's something else to track. I don't really think you're that hard up for money. So I don't know that you need to take advantage of it. So great question, Rob. And I do need to do a few more videos about some of the other aspects. I did a bunch of videos up front, but that was really before people were really paying attention to us. And so Rob, if you go back and look, and maybe you have, but videos I was doing at the beginning of March, that had like 37 views, which we got excited about if we got like 50 views, once upon a time. But anyways, I cover a lot of that. I need to just go back and redo them, so to speak, and put up the new questions on the whiteboard. I did see a few questions pop up, so let's answer Rob's second question, and then will you mind the comments to see what questions we have?
So what about the emails?
Oh, yeah. Tell me Rob's second part of his question, and then I was just going to see if you would. Why don't we snag some of the questions out of the comments if we can?
For C Corp owner employees, are the healthcare and retirement costs allowable for the owner/employees, or is the forgivable amount capped at the 2019 8-week equivalent compensation if less than $15,385?
Yeah, so I think I did a video.
Bye, John Hamilton.
Oh, John, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being on last night to watch the reality show. Awesomeness to John Hamilton.
He's headed to the beach.
Nice. Well-deserved, my friend. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Awesomeness.
Awesomeness.
I said it twice, so.
Oh, 2 drinks.
One. This is some spiked Gatorade, I guess.
Yep.
So Rob's question, which is a great one, is for whether you're a C Corp or an S Corp, right? So for the owner employees, which you can't be an owner employee in a partnership or in your own sole proprietorship Schedule C. So no, actually I did a side-by-side comparison the other day where I showed what are the forgivable calculations for the sole proprietor, self-employed, independent contractor, single member LLC, compared to partners, compared to those that are owner employees with the Schedule C, with W-2. So if you're an owner employee and you get a W-2, okay, just to Rob's point, you take what you were paid wages-wise for 2019, divided by 52, times 8, but you do get to include, in addition to that, whatever the health insurance was for that owner employee, whatever their retirement benefits were, the match for 2019, you take that dollar amount divided by 52 times 8, and they get that on top of it. Seems unfair that the self-employed don't get to include it, or partners, but under the PPP Flexibility Act for self-employed, I don't know that that really will matter because they're going to probably achieve full forgiveness regardless of that. But for the owner employees, you get that in addition to that. So real quick though, hang on a second. So we've got, okay, so Fred's on and P. Rick, and we've got Amina, and we've got, let's see, we've got Fred. Now does Fred sometimes jump in under a different Fred, or was that just a different Fred?
I think it's just a different Fred.
I think it was a different Fred. And we got Tony on with us. Oh, and Maria Lee, MLB, is on with us today. CSR, who never misses a beat. He was watching they were asking about, you probably saw last night, but CSR was having to work. Mm-hmm. He was on his phone, so he wasn't able to reply. And we've got Gene, how are you? I sent an email to several of you that I did a coach's video today. Mm-hmm. It wasn't full on coach. I wasn't even planning on it to be a coach's video. But I was talking about PUA and PPP, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go into a little coach mode. But you need to watch the video. It's clearly marked coach. So I'll give you a little hint because it's about PPP and PUA. So you may not need to watch the video, meaning it may not apply to you. Just watch the first minute. Maybe we should put a link to it in the body of this. But then go to about 7.5 minutes. You'll then see Coach come out within the next 30 plus seconds. But we gave everybody a little warning. So I think I cracked me up what we came up with to let everybody know that Coach was getting ready to come out. That way, if somebody doesn't really appreciate Coach, you know, like that's just not like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to me this way? We give enough of a warning that they could just go, oh, I got what I needed. But it includes a siren even. So, but anyway, so And then let's see. Oh, and then John's already headed out. We got Stacy and Kelly Thomas. How are you? And Seth is on. I was actually on the horn with Seth. Very excited. He has a YouTube channel, and he's providing some additional information on there, maybe a little different from what he's done in the past. Seth is, I want to be Seth. He's on Fox News. He's on the Daily Ledger with Graham Ledger on OAN, One American News. He's on Cheddar. He's on Newsy. He's on local news. Guy's on everything, which is phenomenal.
Put his link in here. People can go subscribe.
So yeah, Seth Denson. But what he is a healthcare expert, but unique to anybody on YouTube. So it would be a feather in my cap if you wouldn't mind, when we're done here, we'll remind everybody, just pop over to his page and hit subscribe, put on the notifications. He has a great video coming out talking about how to save a massive amount on getting prescriptions. We were watching the video and Amanda's like, why are we not doing this, taking notes? And then he's got another video coming out talking about
an x-ray that he had done.
Yeah, an x-ray that he had done, but just ways to save money, but then learning about the industry. And so here's a guy that, massively successful, has a huge agency in Texas. He's on the news all the time, like national news as well as local news, and has a book and does seminars. He's keynote speaker. Has he done a TED Talk too?
He did a TEDx talk, yeah.
Seth's lucky I like him because I'm jealous. No, I'm just saying that.
He's an
I'm just saying that.
man.
Yeah. I'm being facetious, but Seth's done a TED Talk. But what I really appreciate Seth's mission, I feel like, this sounds funny, but on YouTube is really to provide information that no one else is providing, kind of secrets. That kind of sounds cheesy, but basically just stuff you wouldn't think of or know. So he's working with big clients, big companies, but there's...
And these are all good information for you guys that are self-employed and small business owners, so you're on your own healthcare insurance, and we all know that we want to find any way that we can to escape the bills.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then just learning about the industry, he was nice enough to have me on his, he has a weekly show where he normally brings on a healthcare professional answering questions you don't hear answered anywhere. But here's the bottom line on Seth, is that the things that he would love to be able to share on Fox News, or on the Daily Ledger, it's not sexy. It's not like, headline catching, right? So if you're going on national news, most people they're doing an interview. I was lucky to be on 3 national news, and it was probably because of Seth. But you're on for 2-3 minutes. Seth's a little longer. This one show he's on weekly, the Daily Ledger. It seems like he's more and more on there. But long story short, you're talking about whether it's the headlines of the day or what's controversial or what's on everybody's minds that day, and it isn't necessarily how to save $85 on an x-ray or how to save $2,000 on a prescription. So don't get me wrong, he's not just giving you some tip every day on how to save a few bucks on healthcare. It's a lot more behind the scenes and how it works. Anyways, pretty excited about it, and he's kind of got a new mission with his YouTube channel as related to that.
It's gonna be awesome. So you guys make sure you did subscribe. I put a link in the comments.
Yeah, so we need to do kind of a fun little story. And also tag his channel or one of his videos on that right there. So look for more. We're going to do some collaboration probably with Seth, and mostly it's Seth's going to do collaboration. Like he's going to let us do collaboration with him is really what that's coming down to. Okay, so let's see. And then, we got PB. What's going on, PB? Let's see. And some of the names that I see, I think, like maybe I haven't seen him in a while, but it's been 5 days. It could be. But anyways, good to see you, PB. We got Kat on with us, and Tony. Happy Friday, says to Coach. I'm in the house, says with flying colors. And we've got Glenda, so excited, and we got Wendy, and then it just popped down. Let's see, we've got Lori And okay, just popped here. Glenda, how are you? And Wendy. And let's see, Dax. Hey, Dax, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We got Blue Line Tax. Love it. And let's see, we got, oh, Terry D's on. How you doing? We did a video, and I think we answered one of Terry D's questions on
that one that we did with you answering people's emails.
Yeah, did a video just trying to answer some emails there. Alyssa, awesomeness. Alyssa reminded me, we're probably behind on these comments here, but Alyssa, yes, awesomeness. I love it.
It's at 6 p.m. Central Time, Gene. You said what time's the game.
Oh, gotcha.
They're keeping you in line with time.
I appreciate that. Fred, thank you for watching the video. And let's see. I just want to make sure I'm saying hi to everybody here. We got Greg on with us. And greetings from Bama. Money never sleeps, and neither does home plan drawing. Roll Tide. Well, you were looking at me like I was missing something, so I wasn't sure.
No.
Let's see. Oh, Kat, first time on your live. Have been watching your videos, and they have helped me tremendously. Thank you, Kat, and thanks for joining us. We've got Tom. Hey. Awesomeness. Look at, see, I got to read these so that
Awesomeness.
I'm kind of getting low here. And
well, we're going to be leaving soon, so.
Yeah, right here. Boom. Okay, and then we've got, and let's see, and Wendy, and yes, Wendy every Friday. Okay, I missed that I was to leave the room for a sec. LOL. Awesomeness. Love it. And let's see, Seth, yes, and Tony. Say it.
Tony.
That's right. Godfather of B.
Tony.
B4BCares.org. We got to start talking about that more. Like, we have so much going on that, like, that's just selfish of us not to be talking about B4B Cares. You need to go to B4BCares.org. Tony's the godfather of it. We need to get after that a little bit more. And then let's see. And Carol, how are you? And then Robert of Philadelphia, but we say Philly.
We haven't seen in a while is Steve, which is my buddy from Hawaii.
Oh, that's right.
Go to Hawaii.
Yes.
We haven't seen him in a while.
And let's see. Okay, John got a CPA and okay, must be talking so. And we got Zoran. Aloha. Does Flex just passed apply to all PPP or only loans that came out after? It does apply to all of them. Zoran, I was looking for that. I wondered the same thing, and there's some language in it that made me initially think that it was that, but then at the very end, they make it clear that it includes everybody. Oh, here we go. Fred's telling us. We got Fred in AZ, and we got Fred that is in Florida.
Oh, okay.
No one calls him Frederick. That's what I called him the first time that I called him out and said hi. But Fred, we were supposed to be in Arizona this week.
Yep.
So I ended up doing 2 8-hour seminars to CPAs. 8 hours doing Zoom videos. I loved it. I do. I love talking. I love being in front of a camera and talking to people. Okay, do you have a couple other questions lined up here? Let's see. Oh, and we got Rob. Hi from Southern Cal. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. Let's see. John Jasper's like, well, where's the beers? Maybe have a little mixed into here. Oh, and Cindy Bell's on.
Yep.
Amanda gave me the look like,
no, I
okay.
Didn't. No,
Amanda's like,
no, you go say hi.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jamara says I'm a non-filer and haven't received a stimulus yet, or have got an update on receiving my date.
Receiving the what? The date? Oh. So make sure you're going to the irs.gov. Maybe you already did, but there's a section for the non-filer. Did you complete that? Did you go on there and give them the info that was needed? I will tell you this, it was, let's see, it would have been 10 days ago that they just sent out 4 million debit cards, and they were sending out a bunch more checks, and they did indicate there's millions more that need to get mailed out. So if you've done the non-filer and it sounds like you've also gone to the IRS website, irs.gov, and you can go to get my payment log in there. You may have already done that, but they had a deadline on that a few weeks ago, a deadline of giving them new information. But it seems like you could still get an update on that. So the unfortunate thing is that the IRS right now doesn't have a mechanism other than the online logins to get any more information. But I know that there's been a few clients and their parents were kind of beside themselves, like, where's my money, where's my money? And it finally did show up. And actually, I think one of them got the debit card here last week, and then the other, I think the check just finally showed up. I do have a couple of clients in their adult kids have not received the checks, meaning like they're in their 20s, they work, they make, 40,000 plus, they're adult kiddos. But anyways, check on those things. If you've already done that, I hate to say it, there's probably no other way really to check.
You guys are really looking at your mail, because Kelly Thomas, who is one of our awesome normal, she sent me an email and said, I just want you to know that I received that stimulus debit card today, and I almost threw it away because I thought it was a credit card offer, because that's how fake it looked.
Yeah.
So be careful and really be looking at your mail if you haven't received anything, because she's a very educated woman and almost threw away her card with her money on it because it looked that fake. So
yeah, and I did it. I think I only did one video on it.
Yeah.
Someone commented once, they're like, man, do you only talk about PPP? It's like, well, I mean, I put these videos out and we'll get like 200 views, and then I put PPP out, and that's what people, I'm giving the people what they've asked for. Mary Cooper subscribed to Seth.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Yes.
Sharon says, union contractor here. Do you have any advice on FTEs, since we hire specifically for work given to us? They only get paid for when they work. Could be 36, 38, 40. Do I count those as FTE?
So is this in the comments? Okay, good.
I'll see if she's still on.
Okay, so union employer, and
she is still on.
Okay, so if you've gotten the PPP, from the PPP perspective, SBA perspective, they don't care if they've worked or not. Now with the 24-week of the Flexibility Act, that's definitely going to give, no pun intended, the flexibility for employers, of course, to be able to pay out beyond the 8 weeks, or if they haven't even started paying. And then I will say this though, what's great in the Flexibility Act as kind of a round out on the FTE only portion of the calculation that could reduce down the amount of your forgiveness, meaning if there's a concern that you weren't able to replace headcount, so to speak, if you can show, for lack of a better word, reasonable cause, which I think will probably be pretty easy to do from the standpoint of if you've been affected by COVID, or if you have circumstances where you have to hire specific employees that either are specially trained and or have to have an equal amount of experience, etc. So if you can't find those individuals, or you don't have work for those individuals, that will be now a safeguard, a safe harbor that you would be able to, for lack of a better word, get around it. So I feel like you're going to be in good shape, given that you have kind of a specialty set of circumstances with that. So, okay, and then I see we've got a couple other questions. Real quick, we've got Sal. We got 2 M's on that. Salmana. People, it's, we shouldn't worry so much. It's probably not necessarily, it doesn't always have to be their name. It can just be their nickname, or it could stand for something. All right, let's see. John Jasper, and we've got Humai 808. I'm looking at you like, I'm more looking at you for forgiveness that I didn't pronounce it right. Aloha from Hawaii.
I don't have it. I'm looking at
You're okay. So. Zoran says awesomeness. Thank you so much. Alyssa says Tito's. Right. Excuse me, I know what she means by that. All right. Oh, Glenda. Yeah, I lost it. Card shop. Oh, and then card shop said something about coach, and I missed it. Okay, what else do we got?
Buckeye DJ, I have a single op LLC and my CPA hasn't finished my 19 taxes yet, but hoping to get that done soon. I am getting the PUA, so don't coach me, but what should I do when I get my taxes? PPP or EIDL?
Well, I don't believe the EIDL will be available to you if we're going off what we know now, meaning you're not even available to apply for on the loan. And as it relates to the PPP, I think what you want to do right now is once the SBA guidelines come out, my concern in the video that I posted earlier today was what's going to happen, because PPP, if it's supposed to be for 24 weeks, how's that supposed to be? I feel like the self-employed won't have to worry about having a 24-week period that they can't get technically PUA because they got PPP, because the PPP was based on, in essence, 2.5 months of last year's profit. So here's what I would say is, at least on the PUA, I think the calculation would be, if you're just going to safe bet, and in that video I released earlier today with Coach, it was, in essence, depending on the state. I don't really have an answer on can you or can you not get PUA during the PPP, because the SBA has been so vague. Each state has been inconsistent, and there's only seems to be maybe 4 or 5 states that are even asking about PPP. But here would be the math from my perspective. Oh, that's Cammie. Here would be the math from my perspective, which is, the PUA is 600 a week, so take 600 times 8 weeks, and what's your PPP amount going to be? So worst case, okay, if you get the PPP, well, if it's at least more than the 600 a week for 8 weeks, then it makes sense to do the PPP. Obviously, if it's less, it would make sense to keep doing the PUA. My concern, though, is, especially for the self-employed, is, it's not been uncommon, especially through this, that the SBA or the state or whoever could come out later and say, hey, by the way, if you got PPP and you took PUA, we're needing you to reconcile that and we might need you to pay it back. It is so hard to know if that's actually going to be the case. So from my perspective, EIDL, not going to be available most likely because it's not available now. And then on the PPP, see how the calculation runs itself out. Okay, yeah, and then Gene, yeah, I just did Coach for 5 minutes. I love it. And let's see. All right. Okay, so someone said, no, it's me under a different, oh, okay, got it.
This one said, or Kat wants to know, she said, did I see that you said you had a spreadsheet we can download? Is it PDF format, if so?
Oh, for which one? So on my website, if you're talking about PPP application, okay, I have PDF and an Excel spreadsheet. And then on the self-employed calculation, I have the PDF as well as a Excel spreadsheet. So if you go to jjthecpahelp.com, if it's for the application, you'll find it on the PPP page. If it's for the forgiveness, you'll see I have a self-employed forgiveness. Now for the employer, I do not have one on there. I have one that just kind of shows you the breakdown, but I don't have one on there just because I think you're gonna need to hire somebody or do software to actually calculate up on the employer side. Real quick here, let's see. 406 memories, if I got EIDL Advance and the PPP, do I still need to spend the 60% to get forgiveness or just the 31 divided by 52 times 8? I don't know if I have to spend all of it to achieve forgiveness. So on 406, thanks for the question. So check out, I released 3 or 4 videos today. I'll give it to you in a nutshell, but watch that. I go up on the whiteboard, I run a number of calculations. We don't really know for sure. We need the new application as well as the new SBA guidelines, but if you'll go through and look, You take your line 31 divided by 52 times 8, divide it by 60.60, or if they give us the 24 weeks on the self-employed, I think you're achieving it either way. And then no matter what though, unfortunately, the EIDL, the advance, is going to reduce down the loan forgiveness. It seems as though they've really made that clear, that if you got a $10,000 loan PPP as self-employed, and let's say, new calculations, 10,000 of it, boom, gonna be forgiven. But you got 1,000 EIDL, well, the EIDL, even if you spend it for different purposes, you got that money, but only 9,000 of your 10,000 would be forgiven. That's basically considered an overlap. And that'd be maybe what ends up happening on PUA. I doubt it, but that could be potentially what happens as well as on the PUA. Okay, we did answer both questions from Rob, and let's see. Okay, weekly show, I hope it is not named Inferno. I love it. And then let's see, Alt Maya events, I meant SBA. I did not spend my grant, but asking me for gross sales and cost of goods. How do I get my grant if I don't get the EIDL loan? Well, they're not doing the grants anymore. So if you hadn't already applied for it, unless you're in the agricultural business, you're not going to be able to get the EIDL advance at this time. And on the grant, yeah, they ask for gross. They want your cost of goods sold, which really they just want your expenses. And then you have the number of employees. Okay, whoops. So do you have one?
John Jasper says, after 8 weeks of taking wage, can S Corp owners get full forgiveness and then go on unemployment? Yes. I really feel like it's definitely a no-brainer on that one, because you've gone through it and then you get it. You can get the PUA before, and in some states they don't care about the PPP. I mean, maybe there's a recapture later, but I think you're good to go there. And Alyssa, so I think I just went over to Alyssa's comment again, maybe. But awesomeness, we have to take a drink here. I just saw Gene real quick. Yeah, so in essence, the EIDL, yeah, you don't have to pay back EIDL, but you got to pay back, in essence, the bank, i.e. the SBA is not going to cover that amount of the EIDL. So yeah, in a real roundabout way, in essence, yeah, the EIDL, you got some money, but it reduces down the forgiveness on the PPP. Melissa says, as a sole proprietor, portion of line 30 Schedule C, business use of home can be used part of the 25% expenses. How would this be calculated for an allowable amount? My line 30 is 1,438. How much can be for PPP?
So is that from Carol?
Melissa.
Well, I only say that. So I do want you to go and watch. What's the video I did the other night? We should just put the link. We put a link into it. It was the one that I was talking about the Flexibility Act, but then I put at the end of that video, I put about an 8-9 minute analysis related to why I don't actually think that the home office deduction will be included. But here's the thing to know. We won't even need it, okay? You don't even need it. If the calculation comes out one of two ways, it won't matter what your rent is or your utilities or interest or anything, because unless the SBA just goes, there's no calculation difference for the self-employed. If you were to take line 31 divided by 52 times 8 divided by 0.6, it's gonna be an amount that is larger than the loan. If you were to go line 31 divided by 52 weeks times 24 weeks, you're gonna come out with an amount that's larger than the loan, which just leads to automatic forgiveness. The SBA guidelines are specific on the ones that came out on April 14th, all the way down, if you go all the way to the end, and the SBA indicates that self-employed work out of their home and those expenses do not qualify. The utilities, the interest. What does qualify is business interest, business utilities, business rent, as in for the business. You're not gonna be able to convert. Now, if for some reason the SBA comes out and indicates that The self-employed calculation is not going to change in any way, shape, or form. And somehow the SBA comes out and says, oh, if you are taking a home office, how would that count? Well, all that would count would be the mortgage interest and the utilities, and basically whatever would be allowed, okay? You'd take that $1,000, divide it by 52 times 8. However, I just really feel strongly that none of the home office deduction will be included. And the other part is that there's 3 ways to calculate it. There's a safe harbor. I just don't think it's included. There was another person on YouTube that does think it's included, asked me to do some guidance. So check out that video. Do we know the name of it? Did you figure that one out? It's the one I put out in the middle of the night. So good question on that. But I don't think we even need it, but I did all that analysis. It was a PPP flexibility, and it was the CLIF, the 60%.
Oh, the cliff one? Yeah.
Yeah, it says 60% CLIF, question mark, and then at the end of it, I did this add-on. I did this add-on video, and
Adams wants to know if my business showed a loss last year, can I apply for PPP?
is it a sole proprietor? Well, if you're a sole proprietor, the answer would be no, unfortunately, because it is based on net income. Let's see. Oh, Rob says we better start the goodbyes now. That was a while ago, too. Can you tell JJ's a proud dad? Yes, thank you so much.
Doran just said your book just arrived.
Ah, well, thank you. I really thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Hang on. Toby B. If your business starts backup, contractor will have to pay back the amount earned. No. PPP doesn't matter if you're making any dollars there. And let's see, we answered Jamaris. Dax, have to be careful kicking that can down the road as well. I have had a lot of discussions with my clients about deferring things for later if not necessary. Yeah, Dax, that's a thing for me too, is if you don't need it, why do it? In the sense of just, I mean, I don't not do stuff because it's a headache. You know, it's like, well, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's gonna help, it's gonna help. But at the same time, I feel like the amount of additional time and tracking, and then you're gonna have to pay it anyways, right? So yeah, I like it, Dax. Hang on real quick here. Okay, so we talked with Sharon B, and then under pressure, CSR is indicating that that would be an episode for Group 300, under pressure. And let's see, goodness, I'm really behind here. Okay, I think you answered those. We got Jared on. What's going on, Buckeye DJ? And let's see, Mary Cooper. And all right, so we got Jared. I'm Jared Jeffrey JJ from Minnesota. Am I doing okay? You seem like I'm doing something. No, am I off script? Am I off margin?
I'm just letting you.
Okay. What did I miss? Do you have some questions in the comments? We got Roy and Rob and John, and go ahead. I'm just saying names while we're rocking.
Morduno, can I write myself a check from the business as proof of my payroll for self-employed forgiveness?
Don't even have to write a check. It's automatic. Boom. How about that for awesomeness? Done. You don't even have to write a check. You don't even have to spend it. Go check out my videos on that one. Yeah.
Michael says received PPP, had been collecting PUA. Since forgiveness PD is now 24 weeks, does forgiveness need to begin on PPP receipt date, or can I continue to collect PUA through 7/31 and then start forgiveness?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to depend on your state. If no one gave me guidance, because in Oklahoma they don't ask about it, I'd stick with the 8 weeks. I mean, that's what the intent was of the PPP, not 24. So if you're going in an abundance of caution, I think the 8 weeks you're going to be safe on that. But I'm telling you right now, the states, they're not asking, they don't care, it's not on the radar, they're not considering it income. They're considering it a tax-free amount of money that's been given to you. Some states are saying, no, we want to know how much you got, divide it by 8, show that as your income. So if the state's not inquiring of it, then you have to just go by whatever the state's going with on that. So
we have to give a quick shout out to our youngest fan.
Awesome.
And we'll have
Oh.
to show her beautiful face because Leah is officially going to kindergarten.
Aww. We get to
So-
show the picture? It's okay?
Look at that precious little
Is
face.
it showing up okay? Aww. So beautiful.
Congratulations, Leah.
Yes,
You graduated
congratulations,
pre-K.
Leah. You've never met a granddaughter quite like Leah. I see a quick question on the ERC, the employee retention credit. I'm really upset about this, and I thought that they would fix it maybe. But if you got PPP, you're not qualified to get the ERC no matter when. And I mean, I've looked at it, I've disagreed with it, I've looked at it, I went through so if you go to the IRS website, look up ERC, which I don't go by that only, but then if you look at the instructions and then you look at the law, but what the IRS did make clear is regardless of when you got PPP, you don't get ERC as ever, as you don't get it. Now, the other credits you can get, the credits out of the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act, you can still get those credits once PPP is over, but not the ERC, which I hate. So, okay, let's see. Ram, so just if you don't mind, go to my playlist. I have a playlist, it's PPP Self-Employed. Grab any one of those. I walk through how to go about the self-employed, but really what it comes down to is it's the calculation that shows versus you having to prove anything. And then, let's see, and then Morduno, thank you so much for that. And Jason, any comments around PPP's impact on the ERC? Oh, okay, yeah, so I don't know if it was you or somebody else that asked that, yeah. I was hoping I was really hoping out of the Flexibility Act or something that they would address that, fix it. But anyways, they have not. And let's see, Chris, S Corp veterinarian, essential, kept open. Okay, curbside timeline, applied for EIDL day one, applied for PPP after 12 solid days of hoop jumping with bank, got EIDL. Got the advance. Wow. Okay. Well, good deal on that. I don't know if you got the PPP. Just keep in mind that the amount that you got on the EIDL, unfortunately, will reduce down the PPP. I also thought that might be something that they address in the Flexibility Act, which they did not. They also did not address in the Flexibility Act whether or not Congress believed the expenses that PPP funds paid for would be deductible. I don't want them to be not deductible, but in the history of history, if you receive a grant, anything you spend that grant dollar on, it's not a deduction. It's just how it's always been. And so when these dollars came out, it's a grant. Any dollars that are used, not going to lead to a deduction. So I've been saying that from day one, not because I want it to be that way, that's just how it works. But the Flexibility Act, there's a number of people that thought Congress would address it and indicate otherwise, that it would be deductible. Given that they did not, it is not going to be a deduction for the amount that you spend of PPP funds that you don't have to pay back. If you're paying any portion of your PPP loan back, then that's just a traditional loan, and then those expenses, whatever they are, would be deductible on that. And looks like we probably got to wrap up here, but let me see if I can snag a couple others here. Oh, okay, wait a minute here. Sorry, Chris, you kept going. PPP application sent off. Got PPP of 70. Awesome. SBA offered EIDL of 150. Oh, wow. You really got under the wire because a lot of people are not. I've not accepted yet since I cannot refinance loan from shareholder with the EIDL. I do not need the EIDL. Yeah, you're right. I know exactly what you're talking about on the loan to shareholder, and great that you are keen to that. On the EIDL, boy, it goes down to personal preference, but so I'm just going to tell you the discussion I had last week with 2 of my clients that got the EIDL loan. So it's beyond the advance, beyond the PPP. Doesn't affect PPP, of course, but now EIDL has to be used for specific purposes, which is ongoing, only operating expenses, which I know you know, but I'm just saying it out loud. Can't be used to refinance debt or pay yourself back for loans that you put into the company. You know that. But for them, they went ahead and accepted it. So hear me out on this. They went ahead and accepted the EIDL as pure safety net, like pure safety net, because you can pay it back whenever you want. The interest rate's low. It's over 30 years. That'd be my only thought. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's no good to incur debt, but if you go back and you look at some of my early videos, the thing is that what if things continue? What if there's another epidemic? What if we close down in October? What if there's no more PPP funds to provide? And then you know as well as I do, and I've got a number of videos that came out on this, well, I'm not saying you know as well as I do. I'm more just saying we don't know if banks will keep giving out money. If you have a business that hasn't brought money in for 6 months or 3 months and it's showing a loss and it's getting ready to close down again, I talk about it in my book, banks are there to get repaid. We think they're there making money hand over fist off interest. Okay, maybe, but their number one goal is to make sure they're going to get repaid. So I don't know. On that, given that you were essential, but you had to go to curbside, maybe you're still considered essential. Maybe you could continue to do the curbside. Maybe you have enough reserves. Maybe it's not as big a deal. So don't get me wrong. I don't encourage debt. Just might be something to consider. Pure safety net. So that's the 2 clients. I was like, safety net, because you can pay the money back, whenever you want. There's no interest for 12 months. You don't have to make payments for 12 months. So in 12 months, you can just go, hey, here's the money back. Now, these were with clients that are disciplined. I knew that they wouldn't end up doing anything with it. But the other part to remember is that if you have it and it's paying for operating funds and then you're building up cash, it's not dollar for dollar, but if it's paying operating funds and then your collections that are coming in are just kind of increasing, well, the collections that are coming in and from the profits of that can be used for other purposes. It could be used for paying you back. It just can't be money came in and then you paid yourself back. It would have to be that your profits, increase. So, well, Amanda, we probably need to rock here. Yes. I just wanted to make sure, gosh darn, yeah, okay, so Gary, so if we get more money for 24 weeks of pay, we're supposed to stretch 8 weeks. Yeah. No, Gary, I don't think, no, that's not going to be the case there. And all right, so I think, let's see, Andrew, did you miss my question? So Andrew's question.
Andrew said, I saw it.
Okay,
Why do you think dividing by 0.6 gives automatic forgiveness for self-employed? I don't read it that way.
Yeah, so, excuse me, if you were to take and look at the line items where the loan application comes into play, you take your payroll costs and you divide that out by 0.75, and it comes up with a figure that is in essence just under 75% of the loan. That's why then that amount would be your max forgiveness if you didn't spend it on anything else. So it's the lower of your payroll cost divided by 0.75, and that figure comes to here, your loan would be here. You take that same payroll cost divided by 0.6, and now the number's up here. And so your forgiveness is the lower of that calculation or the loan. So then, boom, the loan amount would be forgiven on that. Great question, and I've got a few videos. I run the math on it, and I run it both ways. So yeah, check out just today released videos with the whiteboard. So, all right, hey, thank you for everybody tuning in. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and thank you so much for all the support and for the views. Know this in our comments, we try our best, but I'm telling you this, if you're on right now and you have a question, if you don't want to, I mean, there's a risk we're not going to catch it. I mean, there's we love everybody, but there's, I mean, between Amanda and I, 3 hours a day just answering comments, we just can't always get to all of them, just not actually possible with work and kids and family and sleep and things to that effect. So JJ.
It's gotten a lot better on the sleep part.
Yes. So anyways, the email is jj@jjthecpahelp.com, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. Now, I will tell you this, we can't even get to all the emails. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're doing our best. And so all that to say, thank you for the comments, the support. Please subscribe. I'm assuming if you're on with our live, you are a subscriber. So thank you so much for that. Those that have gotten my book, whether it's today or this week or in the last couple of months, thank you so much for that. Amanda has a book as well. You can find our books on Amazon.com if you haven't come across them. You can just put in JJ the CPA, and we'll have a few other videos coming out this weekend that address the self-employed, where I do some more calculations. I'm trying to run like all these scenarios. They're like, well, I think if we do this, if we do that, I think it'll be good. So, all right, so let's see. All right, Jason and Kat and Kelly. And let's see, thanks Chris for being on. And Carol, thank you so much. And Jason and Glenda, JJ never sleeps. I appreciate that. Alyssa says sleep. And we got Wendy, your comment made me laugh. So Wendy says, yeah, sleeping is for suckers. I know, I wish. Let's see, Chris, over 24 weeks, I absolutely spend the advance with PPP, We'll see what guidance SBA vomits. That's a good way to put it. Vomits out in the coming months. And then you probably know this on the EIDL, there's no time limit of when you have to spend the money. Okay, yes, thank you. Thumbs up, everybody. If you haven't given a thumbs up, thank you so much. That just helps YouTube know that people were watching and they were on. If you stayed on with us, just take a second and hit the thumbs up before you pop off. Make sure that you have subscribed to Amanda's YouTube channel. So when you hop off, we put a link there, and we'll be talking more about her. Our Group 300 videos are going on there. And then also you need to subscribe to Seth Denson's website as well, which we put up. Mike, how are you? Good to see you. Have a great weekend. Fred, have a great weekend. Thank you so much. And Carol and Will Lambert, I bought Amanda's book. Will bought your book. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yes, we really appreciate that. Jean, have a good weekend. We'll see you all Monday. John Jasper. Yes, Amanda has a channel.
It's in the body of the video.
Okay, so in the body of the video. Okay, Zoran says, ponder this. I made a mistake searching for JJ CP Help, not JJ the CPA Help. Was frustrated until the lights came on. Oh, thank you for that, JJ CPA Help. All right, well, we'll look into that because we could probably get that domain and then have it directed. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. All right, Fred from Arizona, have a good weekend. And Jeremy, appreciate you all. And Jason, let's see. And Carol and Mike and Rob and Mickety Mac. Oh my gosh, good to see you. And Chris and Lachey, thank you. And Jean and CJ, have a great weekend. Andrew, thank you for the question. Have a great weekend. And Will, Gary, let's see. And John and Alyssa and Glenda. And let's see. Alyssa says awesomeness again, but she typed it a while ago. Yeah. So I'm just saying it again. If you want to have a drink, I don't have one left. So John and goodness, thank you so much. And Kathy, thank you everybody. And Kat, I think was first time on our live, that is. So Thank you so much for that. And thank you all so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate you. We're off to Cooper's game. Cindy Bell, good to see you. Yes, and Cindy's looking for homework. So I've got a text from her, so I've left it as unread. It's the only unread because it's like, okay, that's my little tickler. And then Rob, if you're still on, we will be jumping on the QuickBooks next week. I am going to be doing a little travel with Cooper, so I'll help get that arranged with my staff and you guys so that we can log in and get stuff entered in. It'll probably go smooth. All right, Lachey, thank you so much. And Wendy says, reminds me of Romper Room. Oh, and with flying colors. Oh, answer my question above. With flying colors has a question above. How did we miss it? We missed it. What is it? What is it? What is it? Where are we at? I gotta find it. Looking. How did we miss it? Let's see. All right, here we go. With flying colors. And oh, Melanie, thank you so much. If Melanie's still on, Melanie Higgins. And gosh darn, let's see. And Card Shop Reality, smash thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And Jamaris. And
with flying colors, email it to us because I'm not seeing it.
We're not seeing it. And we usually, we just went through the whole thing with flying, or just retype it for me real quick. Goodness, I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. Looking through it all. Yeah, retype it real quick. Because, and see, Melissa Keegan, a sole proprietor portion. Okay, Melissa asked that great question. And Cindy was just announced that the gyms are beginning to resume operations next week in California. Thank goodness. I'm loving that.
He is in a good home, Rob. Army man's in a really good home.
Michael Perez. Okay, we talked about Michael. And then we had Streets to Sanctuary. How do you pay yourself from EIDL independent contractor?
Okay,
EIDL, you just get the money.
Found it, JJ.
Okay, wow, it's not in my feed?
Well, she sent it at 5:16, so.
Okay.
All right, and real quick, and then we gotta go. Remember when the PPP funds ran out, I applied for ERC, didn't get it. What should I do if the check comes? What should she do?
With flying colors, did you say she got PPP? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? You're not alone on that. The IRS is supposed to tell us how that's supposed to be done. The CARES Act directed the IRS to say what happens if someone gets ERC and they got PPP funds, because that's going to happen, right? People applied, they didn't get it, they get ERC, now they went and applied, and then they get PPP later. I don't have an answer for you yet because the IRS hasn't told us what to do. What I told one of the individuals, it must have been a commenter because or it must have been in the comments. What I'd probably do, quite frankly, if the check comes, I just hold on to it. From the standpoint of the IRS may just require you to deposit and send it back. It might be that it's a reduction of your PPP funds, which then you go, well, I'll just deposit it and I can either pay it right back. But they did come out and make that clear that we don't get it, even if it's after. So I would just hold on to the check, and then with flying colors, feel free to. You'll probably see an email me. A video come out on this one if there is something new on it. I haven't come across anything, but if it does come, send me another email. See if for whatever reason, if there is something new, maybe I know you catch all our videos, so. Hey, thanks for making sure we got your question. I still didn't see it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's weird. We're supposedly have the same feed, but I just went through it twice. So I'm glad that you spoke up. All right, hey, JJ at JJthecPAHelp.com's got more information, and then you can email us at that. So everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Yes,
we appreciate you all. John Jasper and Lachey, and With Flying Colors. Boom, and Alyssa, and the Amanda. You.
Yes, that's me.
All right, John Jasper, cheers. RW, thank you. Go and have a great weekend. You are a blessing from California. Thank you so much for that. And Jason, and let's see, I think John Jasper. Yeah, grab these. Cindy, have a great weekend. And PB, and Blue Line. RW. Oh, and we've got Brush Fire Chief. I love it. Thank you so much. And Wendy, thank you. Mickey Mac, Patty B. Have a great weekend, Patty B. And let's see. I think I've gotten everybody. Jeremy and Fred from Arizona. Yep, because I was up there at that point. Thank you. Your wife, give her a kiss. She's lucky to have you. Thank you so much for that. Tony, have a great weekend. We'll see you all Monday. Mike Fisher, I received ERC refund after receiving PPP. I suggest holding the check. Yeah. If Mike's on the same page with that, I like it. Mike, fellow CPA from California. All right, hey, love you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you again. Smash the thumbs up if you hadn't. Be sure to subscribe to Amanda's channel as we are getting ready to jump out. Carol, you're right. Lucky to have her. Really appreciate that. With flying colors, bye Auntie Amanda and Uncle JJ, the CPA. Love you both. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game. Thank you so much for that. Much love. And let's see. All right, Cindy, have a great weekend. All right, hey, thanks, y'all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you. Thanks again for everything.